The increasing darkness in the northern hemisphere this time of year indicates to the plant that fall is coming on. So it starts recouping materials from the leaves before they drop off. Evergreens protect their needle-like foliage from freezing with waxy coatings and natural antifreezes. But broadleaf plants like sugar maples, birches and sumacs have no such protections. As a result, they shed their leaves. But before they do, the plants first try to salvage important nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus. You have about 30 minutes to answer each question. You must take account of how many marks are available for each part when you answer it. Even if you think you can write more, don't spend 15 minutes answering a part worth only 5 marks. Leave space at the end of your answer and come back to it if you have time to spare later. And if you can't think of an answer to some part, leave a space and move on to the next part. Don't write about something else if you don't know the correct answer. This is just a way.
How are these figures, which are both puzzling and shocking, to be explained? The answer seems to lie in our perception of risk and how we modify our behavior. An important concept that has been developed to account for people's handling of risk is the thermostat model. An individual's propensity to take risks is influenced by their own experience and that of others, and this model assumes that the degree to which we take risks varies from one individual to another. The key feature in risk-taking is the balancing of perceptions of the risk and the possible rewards, and this balance may be a reflection of an individual's particular type of personality. In general, the more risks an individual takes, the greater will be both the positive and negative rewards. Dr. Kiao Sin Lee and colleagues from the University of Melbourne and the Mental Health Research Institute of Victoria, along with Professor Malcolm Home from the Howard Florey Institute, found people with PD had low levels of the brain-secreted protein, alpha-synuclein, in their blood, while people without PD had high levels of the protein. Professor Home said the test they developed measured alpha-synuclein levels in blood. Currently there is no specific PD diagnostic test, so doctors rely on their observations to make a diagnosis, which means some patients may not be prescribed the most suitable medication, and around 15% of those diagnosed may actually be suffering from something else, Professor Home said.
The ocean floor is home to many unique communities of plants and animals. Most of these marine ecosystems are near the water surface, such as the Great Barrier Reef, a 2,000 km long coral formation off the northeastern coast of Australia. Coral reefs, like nearly all complex living communities, depend on solar energy for growth, photosynthesis. The sun's energy, however, penetrates at most only about 300 meters below the surface of the water. The relatively shallow penetration of solar energy and the sinking of cold, subpolar water combine to make most of the deep ocean floor a frigid environment with few life forms. In 1977, scientists discovered hot springs at a depth of 2.5 kilometers, on the Galapagos Rift, spreading ridge, off the coast of Ecuador. This exciting discovery was not really a surprise. Since the early 1970s, scientists had predicted that hot springs, geothermal vents, should be found at the active spreading centers along the mid-oceanic ridges, where magma, at temperatures over 1000 degrees Celsius, presumably was being erupted to form new oceanic crust. Movement in painting that originated in France in the 1860s and had enormous influence in European and North American painting in the late 19th century. The Impressionists wanted to depict real life, to paint straight from nature, and to capture the changing effects of light. The term was first used abusively to describe Claude Monet's painting Impression, Sunrise, 1872. The other leading Impressionists included Paul Cézanne, Edgar Degas, Edouard Manet, Camille Pissarro, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, and Alfred Sisley, but only Monet remained devoted to Impressionist ideas throughout his career. The core of the Impressionist group was formed in the early 1860s by Monet, Renoir, and Sisley, who met as students and enjoyed painting in the open air, one of the hallmarks of Impressionism. They met other members of the Impressionist circle through Paris Café Society. They never made up a formal group, but they organized 8 group exhibitions between 1874 and 1886, at the first of which the name Impressionism was applied. Their styles were diverse, but all experimented with effects of light and movement created with distinct brushstrokes and fragments of color dabbed side by side on the canvas rather than mixed on the palette. By the 1880s, the movement's central impulse had dispersed, and a number of new styles were emerging, later described as post-impressionism.
An exotic type of diamond may have come to Earth from outer space, scientists say. Called carbonado or black diamonds, the mysterious stones are found in Brazil and the Central African Republic. They are unusual for being the color of charcoal and full of frothy bubbles. The diamonds, which can weigh in at more than 3,600 carats, can also have a face that looks like melted glass. Because of their odd appearance, the diamonds are unsuitable as gemstones, but they do have industrial applications and were used in the drill bits that helped dig the Panama Canal.